Take a slow, deep breath and allow your body to rest. Feel the weight of the day sliding off your shoulders, melting away, like soft candle wax dripping down the side of a candle, warm and easy. Let your eyes grow heavy, if they are not already. Let the muscles of your face soften, as though they too are ready to sleep. Notice the stillness around you. Notice the gentle hush of silence, a silence that cradles you like a blanket, tender and calm. With each breath, imagine that the air itself is a lullaby, carrying peace into you and carrying any restlessness away. You are safe. You are here. You are about to drift into a place where story and dream weave together, a place that welcomes you with open arms. And so, our story today begins. It begins in the cloister of an abbey, a monastery set deep within rolling hills, where the night sky is as endless as the ocean, and the stars are lanterns guiding the monks in their quiet hours. Imagine the walls of the abbey, pale stone kissed by moonlight, ivy curling gently along their edges. The air is cool, yet soft, touched with the fragrance of earth and leaf. Beyond the arches of the cloister lies a garden, the monks' midnight garden. This garden is unlike any other. It is arranged in perfect squares, each one filled with herbs chosen not for beauty alone, but for healing, for comfort, for the gentle easing of body and soul. Lavender grows here, tall and purple, swaying slightly even though the air is still. Chamomile spreads low, its tiny white petals glowing faintly like stars fallen to the earth. Rosemary rises like little green spires, holding within its sharp leaves a fragrance to awaken memory. And as the monks step barefoot into the garden, their robes whisper against a path of stone. They carry small lanterns, their lights soft, never harsh, never enough to disturb the peace of night. The lantern glow flickers against their hoods, and the scent of beeswax candles joins the perfume of herbs. They move slowly, deliberately, as if every step is a prayer. And in truth, it is. The monks believe that tending the garden is as sacred as tending the soul. Each herb, each flower, is a gift, and caring for it is an act of devotion. The night is quiet. Listen, you may hear the faint rustle of leaves, the soft chirp of a night bird, perhaps even the distant trickle of a fountain, hidden within the heart of the cloister. The monks kneel by the lavender beds. One monk, with careful hands, plucks a sprig, breathing its scent deeply, before laying it gently into a wooden bowl. He whispers something, perhaps a prayer, perhaps a memory, and the words are carried away into the night. Another monk tends to the chamomile, brushing away fallen leaves, ensuring the soil is soft and nourished. He hums softly as he works, a tune without words, only breath and tone, as though his song is made to soothe the plants themselves. The air is rich with fragrance now. Imagine breathing it in. Lavender, chamomile, rosemary. With every breath you take, imagine you are breathing in calm. With every exhale, you are breathing out tension. Beyond the herbs lie other wonders. A bed of sage, its leaves velvety silver in the moonlight. A patch of mint, so fresh that even the faintest touch releases a cool perfume. And there, in the far corner, roses pale and delicate, their petals soft as a sigh. This garden is a tapestry, woven not of threads, but of leaves and blossoms, soil and stone. The monks walk its paths like keepers of a secret as old as the earth. That nature itself is the greatest healer. A gentle wind stirs. Feel it now, a cool breeze brushing across your skin, as though the garden has reached out to welcome you. The leaves rustle softly, a candle flame dances, flickers, then steadies again. The monks pause, as if listening. The world holds still, waiting, and then, as naturally as a breath, they begin again, their movements slow, their lanterns swaying in rhythm, as if the entire garden has fallen into the same gentle heartbeat. And so, dear listener, as you rest here in this story, imagine yourself walking among the monks. You too are barefoot upon the stone paths. You to feel the coolness of the earth beneath your feet, and the softness of night air upon your skin. You pause by the lavender. You touch its stem, and the fragrance releases, soothing your spirit instantly. You pause by the chamomile, and the tiny flowers nod to you, like little stars smiling from the soil. You pause by the rosemary, and its sharp green scent awakens something deep within you, a memory of warmth, of kitchens, of safety. You are part of the garden now, part of the night, part of the silence, the peace, the calm. And as the monks tend to the plants, so to do they tend to you. They invite you to rest, to breathe, to let go. You are safe here, safe to drift, safe to dream, safe to surrender to the hush of the midnight garden. Slowly now, the monks gather together. They sit upon a stone bench beneath an arch, where vines curl overhead like nature's cathedral. They place their bowls of herbs upon the ground before them, and one monk begins to read softly from a small book, his voice like water over stones. The words are gentle, rhythmic, and though you may not understand them, you feel their meaning, a prayer for peace, for healing, for rest. The other monks close their eyes, breathing slowly, their faces serene. The garden listens too. The roses tilt their petals as though leaning closer. The lavender sways. Even the stars above seem brighter, as though they too are listening. The night deepens. The air grows even softer, if such a thing is possible. And you, dear listener, feel yourself sinking further and further into stillness. Every breath carries you deeper. Every word spoken in this garden carries you closer to rest, closer to sleep, closer to the gentle dreams waiting for you in the quiet night. The night deepens. The stars above the abbey shimmer more brightly now, like candles suspended in a cathedral of endless dark sky. The air is cool, carrying with it the gentle fragrance of rosemary and thyme, carried softly across the cloister walls. You may feel your own breath becoming slower, steadier, as if you too are standing within the garden's calm embrace. Notice how your shoulders can soften now, how your jaw can relax, how even the space behind your eyes can release its tension. Everything in this story is here to help you rest. Our tale begins to shift inward, into the lives of the monks, who move silently in the night. They are not hurried. They do not rush. Every step is deliberate, like a prayer upon the earth. Their sandals touch the stone pathway with a faint scuff, echoing under the arches. At the heart of the cloister lies a garden arranged with perfect symmetry, 4 squares, each divided into smaller beds, bordered by stones worn smooth by centuries of care. Lavender rises like little violet clouds. Chamomile sits low, with its pale yellow faces smiling up to the moon. Sage, mint, and rue weave together like quiet companions. In the very center, a fountain trickles, soft and continuous, a sound as old as time. One monk, his robe gathered close against the chill, leans down to brush his fingers across the tops of the lavender. He whispers to it, though no one can hear. He believes, as all monks here believe, that the plants listen, that they lean toward love and kindness. And so, every night, their tending is not only with hands, but with words, and with the soft glow of spirit. The air around you becomes filled with invisible perfumes. You may imagine the scent of lavender drifting to you now, a calming, delicate fragrance that helps loosen the day's weight. And perhaps you can sense chamomile too, faintly sweet, like a lullaby whispered by the earth itself. With every breath, you may drift deeper, further into this midnight world where there is no need for worry, no need for effort. The garden holds not only herbs, but mysteries. The monks have carefully arranged it so that no matter where you stand, you feel balance. Balance in the square paths, balance in the evenly spaced plants, balance between the tall and the small, the fragrant and the subtle, the flowering and the leafy. This design was not by accident. It was meant to reflect the harmony of the soul, the way body and spirit can rest in peace together. As you walk further into the story, you might hear the faint hum of crickets at the garden's edge. Their song is steady, as if nature itself is chanting alongside the monks. You might hear the flutter of a night bird in the distance, wings brushing the air like soft fabric. You might hear the crackle of a hearth fire, faintly, coming from the monastery kitchen, where a single flame keeps the night warm for anyone who wakes in silence. Inside the abbey's walls, time does not move in the same way. The day is for work and prayer, but the night, Oh, the night belongs to stillness, and in that stillness, the monks have found a secret. They say the stars themselves bend down to watch the herbs grow, sprinkling them with light that carries both medicine and peace. And so, the monks work slowly, carefully. One cuts a few sprigs of rosemary to dry for teas that will soothe weary bodies. Another gathers chamomile blossoms, their heads nodding drowsily in the night. A third stands in silence by the fountain, listening not only with his ears, but with his entire being. This garden is not just soil and plants. It is a sanctuary of healing. Every stone remembers the footsteps of those who cared before. Every plant remembers the touch of gentle hands. And now, as you imagine yourself there, the garden begins to welcome you. To breeze shifts softly, brushing against your cheek. The moonlight seems to rest upon your shoulders like a silken shawl. And with every breath, you may feel yourself melting deeper into the story's embrace. Here, you do not need to think. Here, you do not need to solve or strive. You are simply part of the night garden, resting, breathing, belonging. The monks chant softly now, their voices rising from the cloister like mist from the earth. It is not a song with words you understand, but it does not matter. The chant is round and warm, as if each tone carries you deeper into calmness. The sound echoes against the abbey walls, weaving with the fountain, the breeze, the crickets, until all becomes one vast lullaby. Perhaps you find your eyes feeling heavier now. Perhaps your body feels heavier too, sinking deeper into the bed or chair where you rest. This is what the garden does. It draws the weight from you, like roots pulling worries into the soil, where they can be transformed into calm. The monks know this secret. That is why they walk slowly. That is why they whisper to the lavender. That is why they tend the garden by moonlight, not by sun. Because night is not for effort, it is for stillness. Night is not for struggle, it is for surrender. And so the story will keep leading you deeper into the garden. For now, let the rustle of the herbs surround you. Let the distant hearth fire warm you. Let the chant of the monks soothe you. All is safe. All is quiet. All is peace. The stars above shimmer as though they are tiny candles placed by unseen hands, each one guiding your mind deeper into rest. You notice the rhythm of your breathing, steady, calm, and in that rhythm, you are already walking down a quiet stone path. Our story tonight drifts further into the sacred midnight cloister where the monks of this abbey tend their gardens under the tender gaze of the moon. The walls of the abbey rise tall, protective, built of ancient stone softened by ivy and moss. A faint breeze brushes against them, carrying with it the mingling perfume of herbs lavender, rosemary, mint, and chamomile. The monks believe that every plant holds a whisper of divine intention. And as they tend these squares of earth, they are tending both the body and the soul. Imagine stepping slowly with them into the central garden. Feel the crunch of gravel beneath soft sandals. The world beyond the abbey is hushed. But here within, the rustling leaves and the soft drip of dew are music enough. A monk named Brother Anselm moves silently among the rows. His hands are worn, yet gentle, as he bends to touch the feathery fronds of dill, the silvery leaves of sage. He does not speak, none of them do. Their vow of silence at night makes every sound richer. The flutter of a moth, the quiet crackle of a lantern's oil flame, even the rustle of robes brushing against stone. He pauses before a bed of lavender. He closes his eyes, inhaling deeply. You may imagine this too, letting the fragrance calm your thoughts. Lavender here is more than a flower, it is a vessel of peace, believed to ward away bad dreams and soothe troubled minds. The garden itself is arranged as a perfect square, divided into 4 smaller squares by 2 crossing paths. At the very center stands a simple fountain, a stone basin where water trickles softly, endlessly. The monks believe this represents the river of life flowing from heaven to earth, a symbol of balance and renewal. In one quarter of the garden, herbs for healing are grown. Chamomile, fennel, yarrow, mint. Their purpose: to soothe the stomach, ease fever, calm pain. In another, herbs of fragrance: lavender, thyme, and rose petals, used in incense, oils, and quiet rituals that remind the spirit of beauty and order. In the third, herbs of taste: parsley, sage, dill, used in the abbey's kitchens to bring warmth and nourishment to their simple meals. And in the last, herbs of mystery: wormwood, rue, and angelica. These the monks study with caution and reverence, for they are strong and powerful, useful in remedies but never taken lightly. The layout of the garden reflects the divine order of the universe, reminding each brother that tending earth is a mirror of tending the heart. Brother Anselm kneels to gather chamomile blossoms, golden centers glowing faintly like tiny suns in the moonlight. He places them into a woven basket, and you hear the faint, crisp sound of petals and stems brushing together. He knows these blossoms will be steeped later into a calming tea for weary travelers at the abbey's gate. Nearby, Brother Matthias tends to the fountain. He wipes away moss from the stone rim, humming softly under his breath, a tune so low it is almost a vibration rather than a sound. The trickle of water joins his hum, blending into a lullaby for anyone who listens. The air grows cooler, and the stars shift slightly above. A breeze stirs the lavender once more, carrying its fragrance out through the arches of the cloister, into the night, perhaps even to where you are now. Breathe deeply. Let that imagined perfume drift into you, softening every tightness in your chest, every knot in your thoughts. The monks move slowly, each action a prayer. One ties back climbing roses with careful twine. Another brushes fallen leaves from the pathways. Another kneels in stillness, meditating upon the silver glow of the moon mirrored in the fountain's pool. Everything here invites peace. The garden is not just a place to grow. Herbs, it is a sanctuary of order, fragrance, balance, and devotion. As you wander with them in your mind, feel the grounding of the earth beneath your feet. Hear the soft crunch of soil. Notice the pattern of stars above, mirrored in the tiny lanterns hung along the cloister walls. It is as though the heavens and earth are joined in this one still moment. And now, imagine pausing by the fountain yourself. The water's coolness calls to you. Dip your fingers in, just as the monks do. Feel the way the coolness ripples outward, expanding in circles. Just like calmness ripples through you now. The garden at midnight has no rush, no urgency, no weight of tomorrow. There is only now, this breath, this fragrance, this peace. One of the monks closes his eyes and lifts his face to the moonlight. You may do the same in your imagination, feeling its soft glow on your skin. It does not burn or blind. It simply soothes, reminding you that the universe is vast, ancient, and yet here, cradling you gently tonight. As you listen to the trickle of water, to the hush of the garden, you notice how your own thoughts have slowed. The day's burdens, like fallen leaves, are gently swept away. Your heart, like the fountain, flows quietly, steadily, calmly. This abbey garden, with its perfect squares and fragrant herbs, was made centuries ago by hands long gone. Yet their care remains in every stone, every plant, every drop of water. And now, it is as though it was made for you, for this very moment, so that you might find your own quiet sanctuary, wherever you are. Breathe once more, deeply. Inhale lavender. Exhale stillness. The monks continue their tending, slow, deliberate, eternal. And you, too, may drift deeper, calmer, quieter, letting the night garden carry you into rest, presence, breath, and the rhythm of tending. Their hands did not tremble with haste. Every motion was measured, as though time itself bowed to their devotion. You can feel, if you allow yourself to, that same patience within you now. Your heartbeat, slow and steady. Your breath, long and peaceful. You, like them, a part of this midnight tending. In the farthest square of the garden, beyond where rosemary thickens the air with its pine-like strength, lies the patch reserved for lavender. Its flowers, even in the pale moonlight, seem touched by violet fire. The monks call it the herb of calm, and with each breeze that drifts across the abbey walls, you too can sense its perfume. Imagine it seeping into your lungs, softening every tension, quieting every racing thought. Lavender is not just a plant here. It is prayer given form. And with each exhale, your body learns its lesson: release, release, release. Near the lavender lies chamomile. The monks believe it is the flower of humility. Tiny white petals, golden centers, glowing faintly, like hidden lanterns among the dark earth. They bend low to touch it, to thank it, to gather it gently. Tonight, they steep a handful in warm water by the fire. You can almost taste it sweet, light, like an echo of apples. The warmth of chamomile enters you, soothing, inviting your muscles to sink deeper, your eyelids to lower, your mind to wander gently toward sleep. But the garden holds more mysteries than lavender and chamomile. There are fennel stalks, tall and feathery, swaying as though whispering secrets of the stars. There is sage, silvery and strong, grounding the monks with its earth-rich presence. And near the cloister arch, a patch of mint, sharp and alive, reminding the weary that the soul, even in stillness, can awaken fresh. Each herb, each leaf is chosen, placed and cared for with love. For in the abbey, nothing is random. Every square, every plant, every stone is part of a sacred pattern. And as you imagine this garden, your mind too begins to arrange itself into calm squares. Worries tuck themselves neatly aside. Thoughts soften into order. Like the monk's hands, arranging herbs, your breath arranges your inner world. Inhale clarity. Exhale clutter. Inhale peace. Exhale release. Now listen, the bells do not toll at this hour. Silence is the abbey's song. Yet sometimes, the gentle sound of sandals brushing the path carries through the cloister. A brother passes with a woven basket, pausing beneath the moon to gaze upward. He does not speak, but his silence is more eloquent than words. You can imagine his prayer, not in syllables, but in gratitude. He looks at the stars the way others look at books, reading their ancient light. And as he does, you too may look upward, in your mind's eye, and see the tapestry of heaven stretched wide and infinite. Each star a candle, each constellation a window. And in the center of it all, a peace so vast it fills you with wonder. Our story tonight begins to deepen here, as the monks prepare not only the herbs of healing, but also the atmosphere of sanctuary. Imagine yourself stepping quietly into the cloister hall. The stones are cool beneath your feet. The air smells faintly of beeswax and old wood. There, in the corner, a hearth burns with low flame. The fire crackles softly, its embers glowing like tiny stars upon earth. One monk sits before it, turning pages of a leather-bound manuscript, his lips moving in silent reading. The firelight paints golden ripples across his face. You find yourself drawn to the hearth. The warmth of the fire reaches you. The rhythm of its crackle slows your thoughts even more. And here, in this space, you are safe. All burdens can be set down. All noise has faded. Only the garden remains. Only the monk's devotion remains. And your gentle, easy breath remains. Let us walk once more to the garden path. The gravel crunches lightly beneath your step. You move slowly, savoring each sound, each sight around you. The hedges form neat borders, guiding you gently but firmly, like the abbey walls themselves. Every turn leads you not to confusion, but to peace. This is no maze, it is a map of the soul. And when you pause, you feel it. The night air touches your cheeks like cool silk. The breeze carries a whisper of rosemary, mint, and thyme. Somewhere, faintly, an owl calls. Its sound is not alarming. Instead, it feels ancient, like a guardian watching over the garden. You know, in your heart, that this is a place of protection. Nothing harmful can cross these walls. Nothing restless can disturb the peace that has been tended here for centuries. Now, my dear listener, close your eyes in your imagination and rest on the bench near the lavender. The stone beneath you is smooth, warmed from the day's sun. The scent rises like an invisible blanket. The monks continue their work in silence, their figures moving calmly among the herbs. You are both participant and observer, drawn into their rhythm, but also free, simply to rest. Breathe with them now. Feel how slowly they move, how purposefully. Inhale, and place your hands upon your knees. Exhale, and release your shoulders. Inhale, and imagine the lavender's purple light filling your lungs. Exhale, and imagine tension dissolving into the earth. The garden becomes your lullaby. The stars become your ceiling. The monk's devotion becomes your comfort. And in this timeless cloister, where night deepens but never frightens, you are at home, safe, resting, healing. And so, our story tonight sets its roots deeper into the soil of calm. As the midnight garden continues to bloom both around the monks and within you, the cloister arches frame the sky like windows into eternity. And above, the stars wheeled in their slow and silent procession. It was the monks' favorite hour, when all the abbey lay hushed, when the distant hills melted into shadows, and the air itself seemed sanctified. Brother Elric walked a path of crushed gravel, his sandals stirring only the faintest sound. As though he did not wish to disturb the night's serenity, he carried with him a small clay lantern, its light muted, flickering warmly against the polished stones. The flame was not to illuminate the garden, for the moonlight already bathed it in silver. The lantern was symbolic, a gentle reminder of inner light, the flame of devotion. The garden stretched in perfect squares, each bed divided by narrow walkways. To an untrained eye, it might have seemed orderly yet simple, but to the monks, this geometry was sacred, each square a reflection of divine harmony. In the first bed grew lavender, rows upon rows of slender stems, crowned with violet blossoms. Their fragrance was soft, not overwhelming, yet so steady that the very air seemed woven with calm. Monks believed lavender could ease restlessness of both body and spirit, and tonight, its perfume rose in gentle currents, curling like invisible smoke. Brother Elric paused, closed his eyes, and drew in the scent. His chest expanded with a slow breath, his shoulders lowered, and with every exhale he felt the weight of earthly concerns drift further from him. Around him, the garden whispered crickets, in the grass, the occasional hoot of an owl, and the sigh of wind moving lightly through the trees that bordered the cloister wall. All these sounds together formed a natural hymn, a quiet chorus beneath the canopy of stars. Beyond lavender lay chamomile, its tiny daisy-like flowers glowing pale in the moonlight. Brother Matthias, the apothecary of the abbey, often spoke of chamomile as the healer of unsettled hearts. Its blossoms were steeped into teas that soothed weary bodies, calmed anxious minds, and lulled restless sleepers into dreams. Tonight, Brother Matthias bent over the bed, his weathered hands brushing through the flowers. He whispered a prayer as he harvested, thanking not only God but also the earth itself, the rain, the sun, and the patient cycles of nature that had nurtured these gentle blossoms. Brother Elric greeted softly. Matthias looked up, his face creased in the lantern's glow. "Peace to you in this blessed hour." "And peace to you," Elric replied. "The garden feels especially alive tonight. It always does when hearts are open to it," Matthias said, his tone as calm as the herbs he gathered. He held a handful of chamomile blossoms, their fragrance sweet, almost like apples in late summer. "Come, breathe deeply. Let it remind you how fleeting worry can be." Elric inhaled, and for a moment, he imagined not a cloister, but a meadow in his youth, open fields, stretching wide. The laughter of his family echoing from far hills, a time when life had seemed simpler, unburdened. The chamomile brought him back to that place, not as memory only, but as feeling. His heart lightened. Nearby, another monk tended a bed of sage. The leaves shimmered with a silvery hue under moonlight, and when crushed between fingers, their scent was sharp and purifying. In medieval lore, sage was the herb of wisdom, of clarity, of protection against unseen ills. Brother Anselm, who spent his days in deep study, found solace in this plant. He knelt, muttering softly from the Psalms, his voice blending with the rustling leaves. The chant rose and fell like waves upon the shore, steady, timeless. The monks moved slowly, deliberately, for the midnight garden was not a place of haste, but of presence. Each step upon the gravel, each touch of leaf and blossom, was an act of devotion. In this ritual, they believed, the soul aligned with the eternal. Even the youngest novices understood. This was not merely gardening. This was prayer made visible. Imagine, listener, as you drift with me walking through this garden yourself. The stones beneath your feet cool from the night air. The fragrance of lavender wraps around you, easing the weight of your thoughts. The chamomile greets you, soft and inviting, asking you to lay down every burden. The sage sharpens your senses, like a gentle breeze sweeping away the fog of confusion. You are safe here, entirely safe, in this midnight garden tended by devoted hands. Brother Elric reached a fountain at the center of the cloister. Its basin was carved from pale stone, and moonlight caught in the water's ripples, scattering silver across the surface. The fountain's gentle trickle added its voice to the night's hymn, a constant murmur that sounded almost like whispering prayers. He sat at the edge, resting his lantern beside him, and gazed upward. Above, the constellations gleamed Orion, the Great Bear, the Pleiades, like a cluster of jewels. Elric thought of them as heavenly seeds, planted long ago in the dark soil of the cosmos. Other monks soon gathered around the fountain, each bringing sprigs of herbs freshly cut. They laid lavender, chamomile, and sage upon the stones, arranging them with care. Brother Matthias sprinkled a few blossoms into the water, watching them float serenely upon the surface. Together they began to chant, voices low and resonant. The hymn was simple, repeating phrases of gratitude and peace, yet it seemed to weave itself into the very fabric of night. The garden absorbed the sound, carried it outward, until even the stars appeared to listen. And as the chant continued, a quiet transformation occurred not in the garden, but in the hearts of those who dwelt there. Their breathing slowed, their minds emptied of worldly concerns, their souls felt expanded, as though stretching out toward the infinite sky. Perhaps you, to feel this, dear listener. Perhaps as you hear these words, you notice your own breathing deepening, your body loosening its tension. Perhaps the fragrance of lavender, though unseen, lingers at the edge of your awareness, carrying you gently toward sleep. Imagine yourself seated by that fountain, moonlight caressing your face, the chant vibrating softly through the stones beneath you. You are here, safe and cherished, in the midnight garden. Time in the cloister did not pass as it did outside. Minutes seemed to blur, merging into a single sustained moment of stillness. And so the monks remained, chanting, praying, tending, until at last the faintest blush of dawn touched the eastern sky. Brother Elric rose, gathered his lantern, and with one last look at the fountain, whispered, "Until tonight, dear garden." The monks dispersed, each carrying with them the tranquility of the midnight hour. They would sleep deeply now, wrapped not only in silence, but in the lingering perfume of their sacred herbs. And when the world woke with its noise and burdens, they would rise refreshed, ready to carry peace into the day. But the garden itself remained awake, bathed in moonlight, holding within its beds the whispers, the prayers, the blessings of all who had walked there. And should you return, in thought or dream, it will be waiting lavender, chamomile, sagebrush, ready to receive you with open arms of fragrance and stillness. Breathe gently, dear listener, and imagine the way the monks move with unhurried grace. Their sandals press softly into the gravel paths, crunching just enough to remind you of presence, of grounding, of the steady rhythm of steps in the quiet night. The cloister itself is shaped as a square, each corner dedicated to one of the four elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And in the center lies a small fountain, trickling water that gleams silver under the moonlight. The sound is soft, like a lullaby drawn from stone and sky. Close your eyes now, and let the gentle dripping water echo inside your own thoughts. Each drop, each ripple, is a tiny invitation to rest more deeply. Our story continues in this sacred place, where time does not rush, where silence itself feels alive. The monks believe every plant has a soul, a gift woven by the Creator into leaf and blossom. When they bend over their herbs, whispering Latin prayers, they are not only tending gardens of the earth, but also gardens of their spirit. You, too, can sense this harmony. With each word I share, picture yourself walking among them, robe trailing softly, breath slowed, heart soothed. In the north corner of the garden, lavender grows in clusters. Their spires stretch upward, tiny purple blooms nodding gently in the cool night air. One monk kneels beside them, running his fingers carefully over the stems. The fragrance releases into the darkness, calming not just the body, but the soul. He gathered sprigs into a woven basket, each cut deliberate, respectful, a ritual of care. He believes lavender can quiet troubled dreams, and so he prepares it for those who cannot sleep. Imagine now that fragrance drifting toward you, sweet, earthy, floral, wrapping around your senses. Inhale it slowly, let it sink into your lungs, and exhale the day's heaviness. To the east, chamomile glimmers pale under the moonlight. Its daisy-like faces appear almost luminous, as though each flower is a small lantern of peace. Another monk sits cross-legged beside them, humming softly, voice as steady as a lullaby. He knows chamomile brings rest to restless hearts, eases pain, and invites dreams of gentle clarity. You hear his hum, blending with the night, almost hypnotic in its constancy. As you listen, feel your shoulders soften, your body loosening into ease, as though the song itself were unraveling knots within you. In the west, near the fountain, grows rosemary. Its evergreen needles catch beads of dew, reflecting starlight like scattered jewels. The monks believe rosemary keeps memories strong, and they plant it here so that wisdom will never fade from their minds. They crush its sprigs between their palms, inhaling deeply before resuming their quiet tasks. The fragrance is sharp and clean, like a breath of mountain air, refreshing, clearing foggy thoughts. You, too, may feel the air around you sharpen into focus, even as your body grows more relaxed. And in the south corner lies sage, with its silvery leaves shimmering in moonlight. This is the herb of cleansing, of protection. Monks sometimes burn it in small bundles, letting smoke drift through the cloister, carrying prayers skyward. One monk lights a bundle now, and the smoke curls upward like soft ribbons of mist. Watch it drift, winding and spiraling, disappearing into the starlit night. With every tendril that fades, feel your own burdens lift away, dissolving into the sky. Around the perimeter of the garden are small beds of thyme, mint, valerian, and hyssop. Each herb, each plant, chosen with devotion. Each one a medicine for body and for soul. You can almost hear them whisper if you listen closely enough. Their voices are not words, but sensations, perfumes, and the rustle of leaves. The monks pause in reverence as though listening, too, as if the plants themselves join in prayer. Inside the abbey, beyond the cloister walls, a hearth glows warmly. Its firelight flickers across stone walls, casting shadows like silent dancers. The faint crackle of the fire reaches the garden through an open door. Feel that warmth as if it extends to you, gentle heat touching your skin, comforting, steady, protective. Our story tonight tells not of grand battles or kingdoms, but of this small world, where care and devotion transform the ordinary into sacred. Here, under the stars, monks weave a tapestry of stillness, and in joining them, you, too, step into a rhythm older than time. Now imagine yourself kneeling beside the lavender bed. The air is cool against your face, the earth beneath you solid, grounding. Your hands brush against the tiny blossoms, releasing more fragrance. A monk beside you smiles softly, as though he already knows you belong here. He hands you a sprig, places it gently in your palm, and whispers, "For rest, for peace." As you hold it, you feel calm spread from your hand, up your arm, into your chest, and across your entire body. Your breath slows, your heart eases, your mind softens. The garden accepts you as one of its own. The stars above shine brighter, as though bending closer to watch over this sacred moment. The moon drapes silver light across the square garden, painting every herb with a glow that feels otherworldly. Time stretches, or perhaps disappears entirely. The only measure is breath. The rise and fall, the gentle rhythm of being. You may notice a breeze stirring now. It rustles the rosemary. It bends the chamomile. It carries the smoke of sage upward in swirling currents. This breeze touches your face as well, light and cool, almost like a caress. With every breath it brings to you a gift. Lavenders.com. Chamomile's peace, rosemary's clarity, sage's protection. all blending together into one perfect perfume of tranquility. In this garden, every sense is invited to rest. The sound of trickling water, the faint hum of prayer, the rustle of leaves, the fragrance of herbs, the glow of firelight, the shimmer of stars. Together, they cradle you gently, inviting you deeper into rest. You are safe here. You are cherished here. You are part of this eternal night. And so our story continues, slowly, softly, like the unfolding of a dream. The monks finish their tending, their baskets filled with herbs that will heal both body and soul. They walk back toward the abbey, robes swaying, sandals whispering against the gravel. But you remain here in the garden, for it has welcomed you, and you may stay as long as you wish. Sit by the fountain, now. Listen to its soft trickle. Watch the starlight dance upon its ripples. Feel your body grow heavier, yet lighter too, as though the earth holds you firmly, while the sky lifts your spirit. Let your breath match the rhythm of the water, steady, soothing, endless. And as you close your eyes, let the invisible perfume wrap around you like a cloak. Lavender for calm, chamomile for rest, rosemary for clarity, sage for peace. You are enveloped, cocooned in the garden's embrace. This is the Midnight Garden, and it is yours now, to return to whenever you need.